How is it going, Retro people? My name is Brad, this is Retro Style Spotlight, and this is your news, notes, history, and retro games to play for the week of June 20th, 2017. In ROM hacking and translation news, I've got several hacks for your gaming enjoyment today as a toast to the cancelled Game Hack Show. First up is T-Dragon Quest that is being translated by Helly and Mr. Richard 999 for the Sharp X68000. This is a partial translation patch so far, so it's not completed as of yet, but it is a fan-made port of Dragon Quest for the Japanese computer. The patch currently translates the menus, enemies, items, and even some of the dialogue. Make sure to apply the patch to a disk image that has no save files on it as well. I wanted to showcase this work in progress as more translated games for the Sharp X68000 is good. Last week I showed off Zombies Ate My Neighbors Brutal, but this week we have Dr. Tongue's Revenge. Also made by Skylar Brock, instead of it being a brutally hard hack, this hack takes the opposite approach and completely remakes the levels with new and innovative ideas for this SNES classic. Skylar notes that through hex editing and over several years of practice hacking Zombies Ate My Neighbors, keeping spikes, lightning, escalators, and other tile animations working properly was figured out. There is also a special thanks to Josiah Plummer for several of the level tiles and ideas used in this hack. And also, once again, special thanks to the Oh No, More Zombies Ate My Neighbors hack team for being very helpful in the title overlay with the tile editor, and also for making it possible to implement reverse inventory cycling in this hack. The big patch today is an English translation for the Famicom RPG Ganbare Goemon Gaiden, The Missing Golden Pipe. This side story RPG is the first RPG for the series, and sets many of the series' staples going forward, like introducing some reoccurring characters and being much more crazy in its approach and tone, especially compared to the games before it. This patch was made by Adventurous Translations and is 99% done, effectively making it complete. The only item not translated are the credits, and it is due to a bug within the original game. It's a pretty easy game overall, but the dungeons can be very confusing and maze-like. The music is great, and the enemies are well animated in battles. It does have a few flaws, such as not being able to tell who can equip something before you buy it, or how it compares to what you currently have on. But it is still well worth playing, and should probably be regarded as one of the better RPGs on the system. I know I said the last patch was a big feat, but that was more for translations. This one is a big feat for gameplay hacking, and it is really awesome. Super Mario Odyssey 64 has been released. This fan-made hack takes the new Super Mario Odyssey features that were shown off at E3 last week and ports them over into Super Mario 64. So far, we have the hat jump and enemy/animal possession that is here for your Super Mario 64 pleasure. This really opens up the game to a whole new world of possibilities. Check it out below and grab it before Nintendo may or may not get mad at this. I was going to link directly to the video, but the video description has a direct link to a pre-patched ROM, not the patch itself. So instead, here is a Nintendo Life article that has the links you'll need at the bottom. If the developer happens to see this, if you could provide just the patch, I would be more than happy to update the links to a direct link to the patch instead of the ROM. Either way, check it out below and let me know what you guys think. I'm thinking about streaming this one soon. Time for some spectacular emulation news, and this week, WinUAE has been updated to version 3.50. The changelog is long and complicated with a lot of technical speak, but the list of improvements is impressive. Performance and compatibility has been increased for a host of chipsets and features, as well as bringing in the ability to emulate new chipsets altogether. The emulator itself has had several bug fixes and is much more usable than it already was. If you're curious about Amiga emulation, want to update your WinUAE install, or to check out the changelog, the links are below like usual. So there were a ton of E3 announcements last week, like E3 usually tends to do, but a specific announcement is of much retro interest to a lot of you, myself included. Metroid 2, the 8-bit sequel to Metroid from the black and white or pea green Game Boy, is getting a full remake on the 3DS entitled Metroid Samus Returns, 25 years later. This remake looks to be stellar, and the release date set for it is September 2017. The game is played in its original 2D perspective, but it looks to be in full 3D with no sprites or pixel artwork. This does put things into perspective with the recent Another Metroid 2 remake DMCA takedown notice that the developer complied with. Nintendo does have an obligation to protect their IP, and probably would have issued it regardless, I believe. But it's really odd timing that they took it down and several months later announced their own remake. I will refrain from making comparisons between the two as well, and I don't think anyone else should either. Comparisons would kind of be unfair in this situation. Not to mention, I do think Nintendo should relax their fan game battle that they're having with people, the ROM hacks, the patches, and the fan game battle that they're having, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. Either way, I am very excited, and my wife loves Metroid, so this remake and the announcement for Metroid Prime 4 have made her a very happy gamer. I suspect that most of you are as well, so let me know how you feel in the comments below, good or bad, about this game and about Nintendo's policies regarding fan games. Lords of Chaos, which was first released by Blade Software in 1990 and appeared on the Amstrad CPC, Atari ST, Commodore 64, Amiga, and ZX Spectrum, is now playable on PC. A sequel to Chaos and the grandfather to XCOM, you play as a wizard in either single-player mode or against up to 4 players in multiplayer. You must design your own wizard and use your spells with varying effects against other wizards or creatures for as long as possible to reach the portal, which appears after a certain amount of turns. Points are then awarded for each player's wizard reaching the portal, for holding items of treasure, or for enemy creatures killed during the level. This is lauded as a classic from many of the Amiga and Commodore fans, so it's nice to see it have a revitalization of sorts. If you're interested, check out the links below. Grimoire Heralds of the Winged Exemplar is an old school style dungeon crawler that just recently had its release date set at July 7th of 2017, and holy crap is that name very complicated. The game has astonishingly been in development for 20 years and seems to finally be coming out. Its inspirations are clear, with them being Wizardry, Might and Magic, Lands of Lore, Anvil of Dawn, Dungeon Master, and the Eye of Beholder games. The game boasts up to 600 hours of play in a single game, detailed and beautiful 2D artwork, retro-styled MIDI and 8-bit music and sound, 244 plus maps to explore, multiple beginnings and endings, 144 context-sensitive magic spells, 14 races, 15 professions, 50 skills, 64 intelligent NPCs with over 8,000 words in their vocabulary, 240 monsters each with their own special powers and defenses, over 1,000 items with carry containers and a global party inventory, over 30 conditions that can be applied to players and enemies, auto-mapping, auto-walking, auto-healing, global map atlas with position marker, quest journal, side quests, mini quests, and so much more! Woo! Wow, that list was long, and I didn't even cover everything. No price is set, and the release date has slipped quite a lot, so we might want to temper our expectations a little bit, but if this does release next month, then this will bring a lot of new players to the old school style of dungeon crawling, but with a ton of new features and a lot of content to go through. This may be one of the biggest crawlers ever released. Let's all hope the release date doesn't slip, so we can all adventure this world together. If you are a patron that pledged to be a part of our Patreon campaign and are watching this early, then thank you all very much. For those of you who pledged at the producer level role, your names are now on screen. If you are interested in seeing your name as a part of Retro Style Spotlight, the tutorials, and having me inside of the Launchbox application, then head on over to our Patreon link in the description below. At just $2 a month, you can see content like RSS early, and at higher tiers, you start to unlock things like exclusive Discord server access, producer credits, and a personal hangout with the Launchbox team. Any dollar amount anyone pledges to our campaign is helping us create a better product, and we could not thank you enough. So that was Retro Style Spotlight for the week of June 20th, 2017. All of the relevant links to everything you heard in this edition of RSS will be in the description below. Remember, you can sign up for a Launchbox forum account to talk with us and interact with the community, moderators, and Launchbox staff if you have any questions or would like to contribute to the project. If Launchbox has given you a beautiful library of games, then why not purchase a premium license of Launchbox for $20, which will get you big box and tons of premium-only features. If you enjoyed this episode of RSS, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe to get notified of new videos that we make. Let us know what you think of RSS and any feedback that you may have on it in the comments below. My name is Brad, the link to my channel is also below, where I do lots of gaming content, and remember Raising Geeks to play more games, and we'll see you next time. Have a good day!